Hundreds of people, thousands of hours, and millions of dollars are needed to create the biggest AAA games. The video game industry has come a long way from the days when a dozen or so people could create a fully developed, best-of-breed game in less than a year. When you count how much money a title like Super Mario Bros. Compared to the relatively small amount of real money that Nintendo probably spent to create it, the profits generated are in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment on the video. Go. 5th, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, $250 million. Call of Duty began its rise to the top in 2003, and COD 2 was a standout title to launch on the Xbox 360, but the series didn't achieve huge success until the release of the first Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare was so huge that it essentially launched its own franchise. This happened only with another part of COD, Black Ops. For a direct sequel, MW Activision and Infinity Ward have gone to great lengths to create one of the best first-person shooters ever. 4th, Grand Theft Auto 5, $265 million. Oh, few films have made over $1 billion at the box office. It's amazing. But Grand Theft Auto 5 has grossed over $6 billion. With many calling the game the most profitable entertainment product of all time. Rockstar probably felt confident enough spending over $250 million to make and promote GTA 5, but we doubt they expected to make that much of a profit. Copies of the game are still sold to this day, and each new re-release becomes the best-selling for the respective platform. 3rd, Cyberpunk 2077, $315 million. Cyberpunk 2077 remains one of the most expensive and problematic video games of all time. The polls from CDPR spent much more money than on the same Witcher, and even despite the fact that development costs in their homeland are much lower than in other countries. Unfortunately, the game did not start as well as the developers expected, but we believe that in the long term this futuristic action-adventure RPG will be put in order. Moreover, Cyberpunk 2077 set a record for simultaneous online on Steam for a novelty and a story game. Just over 1 million users, and the number of pre-orders exceeded 8 million copies, which may indicate the financial success of the project even before release. 2nd, Star Citizen, over $500 million. The most expensive crowd-funded game that hasn't been cancelled or shut down yet. Star Citizen has raised hundreds of millions of dollars through crowdfunding alone. Star Citizen is led by Chris Roberts, the industry veteran who created Wing Commander, and the video game promises to be one of the most popular in history. Most sources, as of early 2023, report that over $500 million has already been spent on Star Citizen, and there is no doubt that this figure will increase. However, unofficially, the game can already be called the most expensive in history, given that it will soon overtake our leader. And our first place winner is Red Dead Redemption 2, from $370 to $540 million. Perhaps not as many copies of Red Dead Redemption 2 have been sold as GTA 5, but the number of new parts, game mechanics, and the whole game world of this epic western is so huge that the mere fact of the appearance of such a large-scale game is surprising. However, Rockstar's attention to detail has come at a cost. The development alone is believed to have cost the studio between $170 million and $240 million, with an additional $300 million spent on marketing, so RDR2 could very well be the most expensive video game ever made at this point in time. Considering that the game generated an impressive $725 million in revenue in just its first 2 days of sales. It's also safe to say that Rockstar was once again able to make a decent profit. However, as with GTA, the creation of an online sandbox has undoubtedly increased the cost of production even more since the original release. So the exact amount spent on RDR development along with Red Dead Online remains a mystery.